What's gaming, gamers? So very recently I decided that I wanted to try playing more Sonic games. As someone who loves 3D platformers, I found that I've played a surprisingly small amount of 3D Sonic games. So what's a better place to start than with the very first 3D Sonic game, Sonic Adventure? Well, I technically lied. Sonic Adventure was not the first 3D Sonic game. That title goes to Sonic 3D Blast. However, I didn't feel like that game deserved its own video. In fact, I could give a review on it in about 3 sentences. The game sucks, the controls are bad, the level design is bad, everything is bad. Except the music. I actually really like the music. I played the Steam version of the director's cut, so I believe that while I had some performance issues, that could just be a result of my computer being a piece of crap. What the frick am I watching? This intro video for the game leaves me with more questions about what game I'm playing than anything else. Is this Sonic or Elder Scrolls? So once we get into the game, we see that we have 6 different characters to pick from, all of which have different storylines and playstyles. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, E102 Gamma, a new character in this game, and of course Big the Cat. We'll go more into depth about each storyline later, but for now let's just start with Sonic. Sonic's storyline starts with a boss fight against Chaos Zero, who we very quickly find out is Eggman's new pet, or something like that. Heck, I beat the game and this plot still confuses me. Okay, I'm sorry, but I just can't move on without talking about the voice acting in this game, because it's bad. Like, really bad. And being an early 3D game, the animations in the cutscenes aren't very great either, making almost every cutscene feel a lot more stupid than it should.
Watch out! You're gonna crash! Ah! Hold on! Come back here!
That's Eggman! I wonder what happened to Sonic.
You're right, my friend, so here we go!
So I beat the first level and head to this other hub area where we meet up with Eggman. We do this quick boss fight against him and he takes our Chaos Emerald. Eggman then goes on this tangent about how if Chaos gets all 7 Chaos Emeralds then he will become invincible or some crap, which sets Sonic and Tails on their mission to get the other 6 Chaos Emeralds before Eggman. So, where do I go? No, seriously, all the game told me to do was go get the next Chaos Emerald, but I don't freaking know where that is. So it turns out you're supposed to grab this windstone thing from outside Tails' workshop and take it over here to unlock the next level. It wouldn't be such a big deal if the game had given me any clues that that's what I was supposed to do. This is when I started to notice one of the game's fatal flaws: lack of direction. There are so many instances in this game where the game gives you no clues to where you're supposed to go. So at this point I decided I was going to rely on a guide in these scenarios. I wouldn't mind the mystery of figuring out where I was going if I was playing a different game, but I'm playing Sonic. I want to run through levels at a fast pace, not walk around the overworld for 20 minutes trying to figure out what I'm doing. Anyways, then Sonic goes to the casino, because there's a Chaos Emerald there. But I feel like there's a gaping hole in the plot here. Are all the locations of the Chaos Emeralds known by everybody? Because Sonic and Tails just casually go to all the locations and collect them. If their locations are already known, then that makes this line from Tails even more confusing.
Yep, I just happened to find one of the 7 emeralds during one of my test fights.
Also, shouldn't the casino have some sort of security against random people getting into the Chaos Emerald? Because it's just a prize you get for collecting 400 rings in the casino. If the Chaos Emeralds were this legendary power source, why can just anybody win it at a casino? Why doesn't Eggman just rob the casino instead of waiting for Sonic to leave so he can steal it from Sonic? There's so many things about the locations of the Chaos Emeralds that confuses me, and I'm just talking about one of them. Let's talk about Sonic's gameplay. Generally speaking, I found myself enjoying Sonic's gameplay and levels. The high-speed gameplay is entertaining and feels a lot like a Sonic game. The level designs are fun to traverse and interesting. Sonic also gets power-ups throughout the game like the Light Dash that allows him to follow a path of rings, allowing for more interesting levels and ways to complete them. And then there's the boss fights. Most of them are pretty fun, like the ones against Eggman and his different machines, or against Chaos. They're generally pretty fun, but the character battles are some of the easiest and most uneventful bosses I've ever seen. I mean, I'm gonna show this whole fight right here.
Oh no! Oh no! Give it your best! Oh no!
See, that was the whole thing. You know what? Here's another one.
Mission complete.
I would call these fights a waste of time, but they go by so fast that they don't waste any time. They just feel pointless. Let's go back to talking about things I enjoy in the game. The music. Once again, Sonic seems to really deliver some great music tracks both for levels or just general music.
Rougher than the rest of them, the best of them, tougher than leather. You can call me Knuckles. Unlike Sonic, I don't chuckle.
So that's enough about Sonic. Let's talk about the other characters, playstyles, and stories. Tails levels mostly take place at the same locations as Sonic's, due to the fact that they spend most of the storyline together. So most of Tails' levels focus on trying to beat Sonic or Eggman to the Chaos Emerald's location in more of a race fashion. Most of these levels are pretty fun, but I do have to complain that the casino level is completely different, and that Tails doesn't even have to collect 400 rings to get the Chaos Emerald. He just runs through the level. So which one is it? Someone explain to me the canonical location of this Chaos Emerald and how they got it, cause something isn't lining up for me. Also, Sonic and Eggman are super annoying during these levels. They just don't shut up.
You made it! Come on! Hey, Tails!
You think you can keep up with me? What? He's caught up?
While Tails plays similarly to Sonic, he can fly, and while his levels are very similar to Sonic's, there's only 5 in Tails' story, whereas there's 10 in Sonic's, so in the end it doesn't feel like a waste of time. Generally, I enjoyed Tails' storyline just a little less than Sonic's. Next is Knuckles. His storyline is that the Master Emerald that he guards has been shattered, and he's got to collect all the pieces and return them back to the Master Emerald. I found myself actually enjoying these levels. While they could get a bit frustrating occasionally, they were mostly just easy. The maps are small enough that finding the emeralds usually doesn't take very long. I mean, look at this. This is the first screen I saw in that level. I should also mention that every time you play these levels, the Master Emerald's pieces are randomly put in different spots, making these levels have even more replayability. Really quickly, before we talk about the other 3 characters, I'd like to mention that because I was playing on the Steam version, there were achievements I could collect. And apparently there's this bug for this achievement that you get for becoming friends with Big. And that the only way to get this achievement is after unlocking Tails, you go befriend him as Tails first instead of Sonic. Otherwise, the achievement doesn't unlock for some reason. Since I played through the storylines in the order I'm talking about them, I didn't do that. So I guess Big and I will forever not be friends. Our 4th character is Amy, and I don't like this one. Amy is way too slow and makes me feel like I'm just walking around aimlessly. Amy's story revolves around trying to get this bird back to its family. That's kinda random, but okay. The real issue in Amy's story is the gameplay. Amy's levels revolve around trying to beat a level without getting caught by this robot dude. Because Amy is so slow, I often felt like I always had to be moving or else this guy would get me. And while I found him super annoying at first, I soon realized that he's the only entertaining part about playing as Amy. Moving through levels as her is so boring that I genuinely got excited whenever he would make a surprising entrance or help make a puzzle more difficult. But for the most part, Amy's storyline felt more like a chore than a game. Next up is Gamma, who is actually such an interesting character in my opinion. Gamma's storyline starts off with him simply following Eggman's orders. Real quick spoiler alert here, I guess, but Once Amy teaches Gamma the power of friendship, he decides to betray Eggman and hunt down the other E-Series robots who still follow Eggman. I think this is a really cool plotline. Gamma's gameplay, however, is just decent. It mostly involves spamming the fire button and running forward. The most annoying part about Gamma is that every time you hold down the fire button to lock on, you hear this annoying high-pitched beep.
Destroy the sun.
It hurts my ears and it's not needed in my opinion. And our final character is, of course, Big the Cat. I actually really enjoyed this one, unlike a lot of people. I may have bias because fishing is one of my favorite types of gameplay in video games, so I don't know.
Another one!
Big's story follows him in his attempts to reunite with his best friend Froggy, who unfortunately has been possessed by Chaos's tail. The goal of each mission is to fish up Froggy. Now, despite all the people I've heard say these missions are stupid and don't work, I had very little problems with them. Especially once you unlock the life belt, which lets you float in the water. I will admit that trying to move the lure around with the control stick once it's in the water is very unresponsive sometimes. But as long as you throw the lure out in the right spot, getting Froggy to bite isn't too hard, and reeling him in without breaking the line is not too difficult either. Overall, not the best fishing I've ever played, but definitely not the worst. After beating all 6 storylines, we unlock the final 7th hidden storyline. This acts as basically a way to finish up the whole overarching storyline. So, spoiler alert here, because I'm going to talk about how every storyline ends really quickly. Sonic defeats Eggman and takes down the Egg Carrier. After that, Eggman still wants to destroy the city, so Tails races him to stop him from unleashing a missile. Knuckles collects all the pieces of the Master Emeralds and resumes guarding it. Amy reunites the bird with its family. Gamma destroys all the other E-Series robots and then sacrifices himself to set the bird inside of him free? Okay. Which just so happens to be one of the parents to the bird that Amy was protecting, ironically. And Big and Froggy go home. So one thing I've been avoiding mentioning is that every character has these weird sections where they suddenly appear in this ancient area with a bunch of guys that look like Knuckles and this chick hanging around. This is all important to how the game ends, by the way. The final story begins with Angel Island falling out of the sky despite the fact that the Master Emerald is there to keep it afloat. Eggman shows up and we discover that Chaos is still alive. Sonic and Tails rush to the location of the 7th Chaos Emerald in hopes to get it before Chaos does. Naturally, they fail, and Chaos becomes his ultimate form and starts destroying the city. Despite the fact that Chaos drained all of the Emerald's energy, apparently he only drained the negative energy somehow. Sonic takes all the positive energy and transforms into Super Sonic and takes down Chaos. Then suddenly the chick from all those other sections shows up and turns out that she and Chaos had been sealed away for years, and that Chaos only ever wanted to protect the Chow. What? Why? I thought I was playing a game about a hedgehog that fights a scientist, but okay. And then Tails is all like,
All's well that ends well, right?
Tails, what do you mean? The city literally is destroyed, countless casualties. But sure, all's well that ends well. So that was Sonic Adventure. Although the story completely lost me at points, generally I found myself having fun for most of the game. I enjoyed all of the stories except for Amy's. I just didn't enjoy the gameplay enough to have fun with her playthrough. But other than that, I think this game is worth checking out, even though I possibly spoiled the entire game for you. But I think the gameplay was good enough to still warrant playing it. Anyways, join me next time when we'll be playing and reviewing Sonic Adventure 2. Catch you guys then.